All right, happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to our weekly conference call with Red Earth. Matt Ham here, co-founder of Uprint, Faith and Personal Development. We bring these calls every week just as a way to kind of keep you guys in a good pace and a good mindset with some good practical steps to stay motivated, encouraged, and as we approach kind of our life and our business. It can get a little bit haywire sometimes. So this is what I love to do, and I appreciate you guys being here and joining me on the call. Real quick shout out, as I mentioned just before we went live, I love celebrating success. I think one of the greatest things that you can do is celebrate success, and not just the victories of getting pen to paper and getting a contract, but even if you had a daily goal of setting or making 10 phone calls or writing 10 handwritten notes or whatever, when you accomplish what you set out to do in a day, celebrate the heck out of it. Celebrate the heck out of it. One of my favorite characters in all of the Bible is King David. And, from a surface level, King David did not have a great reputation to those around him. He actually stole somebody's wife and had her husband killed. So my man had a few issues. But one of the things that David did is he danced and he sang and he celebrated. He has a great legacy of that. And there's actually a really awesome passage where David, when he was being announced as the king, he danced his way into the city in such a way that everybody was like mad at him from celebrating. But I think there's something powerful in that we have to have a celebratory spirit in us, and we do have to be people who celebrate accomplishments. And so anyone of you guys, just congrats. Just celebrate the good success that you guys have had recently. I have heard that sales are starting to pick back up, activity's starting to pick back up, and I really want to challenge you guys as a precursor to today's call. I don't care if you do it right now. I don't care if you do it when we get off. Take 5 minutes today and just be thankful. Take 5 minutes today and just praise. Just be thankful. If you want to praise God, you can do that. If you just want to sing like some amazing 80s music, if you want to, whatever it is you want to do, however you celebrate, go and celebrate today and be thankful and feel it all the way into your heart. Because when you choose to be thankful and grateful, it just raises the atmosphere and energy around you. And so often we get so busy at performing and doing and stressing and striving, we don't celebrate. We don't praise. And we're told to be quiet. You don't need to be doing that. Don't be boastful. All of this nonsense goes out there that makes us shy away from celebrating. So I just give you guys freedom today to celebrate. Just celebrate and be thankful. And I promise it'll do a great deal of good for your heart, for the energy around you. And I will tell you this, when you choose to celebrate, when you choose to be grateful, it has an incredibly attractive component to it. Incredibly attractive component to it. And I just want to make sure that everybody takes some time to do that. So that's why I wanted to spend a few minutes starting today's call with that. So today, I want to talk about accountability, all right? Accountability. And along with that, two other things kind of flow in the same thing. One is discipline and one is integrity. So I think that accountability essentially could be broken down into two components. One is discipline and one is integrity. Okay, so let's talk about this from a fresh perspective, because accountability is not like some manager making you hand in a report every day to see how many people you called. Okay, that is micromanaged. It's oppressive. People generally resent it. And listen, I'll be the first to raise my hand. When I was selling insurance, and I sold it for 10 years, and I did really well in that business, our manager used to make us submit a weekly report of the people we were going to see. Now, he wanted to report on his form, and he wanted to go over it in the group setting. And now this is me, so I'm telling you guys, I'm not condoning this. I hated it. I hated it because I was selling stuff. I was seeing people, and I had my own processes and lists and all that kind of stuff. And he knew he could come into my office at any point in time, but I was the only one in the office that did it. And so he wanted everybody else to do it on his form. And so it was so oppressive to me because I'm like, you're punishing me, making me do something the way that you say it needs to be done on that sheet because these guys aren't doing it, right? Now, not very good team player of me. That was my former self a number of years ago. But the point is I was still being accountable to the actions I was taking. I just didn't want to take the time to put them on his form. So do what I do, not what I say, right? If there is a form of accountability where you need to complete a report or something, you have to do it. It's part of the job. However, that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. It's not just doing it for the sake of doing it, because that is a half-hearted, routine kind of forced mandated thing, and it's never a positive if that's the case. So what I'm talking about today is not filling out some form with how many phone calls you make. What I'm talking about is having an internal monitor for becoming and doing the things that you say you want to become, the person you want to become, and the things you want to do. Accountability to me is more of an internal mechanism. It's like an internal understanding and awareness. And it is a very humble kind of thing. It's saying, listen, I said that I wanted to do this. Am I doing it? I said that I want to lose weight. Am I eating donuts? I said that I wanted to exercise and run a marathon. Have I gotten out of my chair, the last week? I said I wanted to make 20 sales. Where am I on pace for that? And so the key here is, to me, accountability is an internal component that is made up of two things. One is discipline and one is integrity. Okay? Discipline is consistent action. That's the way I see discipline. It's consistent action in a certain direction. Even when you don't feel like it, even when things don't look good, discipline says, I'm going to take consistent action in this certain direction. And I'm going to be disciplined to do that over and over again. It has to do with persistence. It has to do with consistency, but discipline. The other is integrity. Integrity is doing what you say you're going to do. We live in an environment and a culture right now where people say things and they're not held accountable for them. They say things that they don't do and they're not held accountable for them. Integrity is being someone who does what you say you're going to do and taking accountability for those actions. And so that being said, one of the quotes that I want to share with you guys is something that we walk folks through in our one-to-one teaching. And it's this, and this is something worth writing down, and it's something worth putting in front of you. And I would encourage you to really press into this. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret? Which one would you rather have? Would you rather have the pain of discipline or the pain of regret? That's something that Kevin, my business partner, had said to me a number of years ago, and it was profound because discipline requires a little bit of pain. It requires a little bit of, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it. The point is you can have a little bit of pain in discipline, or you can have a lot of pain in regret. And until we get to a point where we understand that that's just the way that it is, we are not going to choose the pain of discipline. We're going to avoid the pain of discipline and then justify and suffer through the pain of regret. And so that, to me, is a powerful mindset that you guys need to take into how you approach accountability. So why am I talking about this, and why does it matter? Well, my family and I are personally having to deal with this inside of our own home. This is a kind of a vulnerable thing, but we have a 10-year-old son, Matthew, and twin 9-year-old sons, Grayson and Wyatt, and we have 2 daughters, 5 kids. And one of the things we have become painfully aware of lately is that discipline in our house has been lacking. My wife and I, because here's the justification, because it's busy, because there's a lot going on, because we have a newborn baby, because I'm launching a new business and we're launching our nonprofit, because we end up not enforcing the things that we say. So if our kids are, misbehaving or something like that, hey, you better, I'm going to take your screen away, or hey, you're going to sit in timeout if you don't straighten up, or hey, I'm going to give you a spanking, or whatever the case might be, however you handle that. If this doesn't happen, well, then you get busy because you're changing the baby's diaper, you're fixing the food, or you got to go to a baseball game or whatever, and you don't end up doing what you say you're going to do. So there's no accountability from my wife and I, who are trying to lead our kids. And we finally get into an environment where we realize that kind of our kids are starting to run the house a little bit. Their attitudes, their emotions are starting to kind of dictate things around the house. And I'm sharing a personal family situation because maybe you guys can relate to that. But I want to talk about it in relation to your own businesses. Because there's a version of you that is trying to run your personal household, your personal business. There's a version of you that is going to run your life. And it is either the version of you, it's the best version of you, and that version is accountable to what they say. That version is disciplined. That version knows where the direction they're going, and that version of you is consistent in a certain direction. But there's also this alternative persona that can run your life and run your business. And that person is like, you know what? I've had a tough week. It's been hard. I'm going to kind of, I'm going to let loose a little bit, I don't need to be so serious anyway, and you're going to let that version of yourself run your life and run your business. And if you're honest, like I'm honest right now, there's two versions of yourself that are trying to lead your life. One is that best ideal version of you. It's filled with discipline and integrity and greatness, and it's certain, and it has its why, and it's established. Or there's the childish version of you, which is the one that throws fits when it doesn't get its way. It's the one that is going to push you toward, oh, come on, it's okay. Don't be so serious all the time. It's no big deal. Yeah, don't worry. I know you said you're going to go for a run 3 days a week, but I mean, come on, you got a lot of stress right now. You probably should just go get some donuts and call it a day, right? Now, again, I really hope I'm not being too high-minded here and getting out of the atmosphere, but coming back to the idea is there is a childlike version of yourself that is eager, and it is hungry, and it's moving in this direction, or there's a childish version of yourself that makes excuses, complains, justifies, etc., etc., etc. And so today I'm really challenging you guys in this process of accountability because listen, I come on every Tuesday with y'all and spend 15 to 25 minutes talking about ideas, talking about things to do, giving out quotes, telling stories, all this stuff. What are you guys doing with it? What are you doing with it? It's fine if it's just in the moment and it's some encouragement and you move on. But like last week, talking about being the rising tide, I challenged you guys to establish daily non-negotiables, daily things you're going to do that you're not going to compromise on. No matter if it's raining, snowing, sleeting, whatever the case might be, the only reason you shouldn't do it is if you're in the hospital or something like that. But these are non-negotiables that you do every day. Then there's weekly non-negotiables. And I dare say, I mean, again, I'm not trying to play like parent, like police. I don't care. I don't get paid for that. I'm trying to pour into you guys to make you better. How many people established that list of these things to be held accountable for? How many people walked through the discipline of putting things together in your life? And I told you guys, this is my list this week right here. That's my daily list of things, and it'll show it on the screen over here. I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just saying a couple weeks ago, about a month ago, I had gotten off track from doing this, and now I'm back on the wagon, and I'm putting this down. I'm mapping out my week. I'm mapping out my days. I'm holding myself accountable to the man, the husband, the father, the business owner, the friend that I said I wanted to be. And that takes accountability. Just like my kids have to be held accountable for my actions, I have to be held accountable for my actions. And I said when I started the call, this isn't about a list that you have to turn into your boss about all the things you've done. It's about creating an inner self and an inner awareness that is not going to let the childish version of you run your life. It's not going to let the victim mentality take over. It's not going to let the excuse mentality take over. It's not going to let the justification mentality take over. You have to develop an internal mindset of accountability, of discipline and integrity to carry you into who it is that you say you want to be. And so that's pretty much it for me today. I think that the primary concept has been well expressed enough. This is about accountability. Don't just sit on conference calls every week. Don't just sit in sales trainings and just let information run in one ear and out the other. Pick something that you can begin to implement and do it. Pick something that you can benefit from, grow from, and do it. Make a choice and a decision about who you are and where you're going, and then go in that direction. And don't let everything else sway you or stop you. And so this is kind of Matt's approach to accountability. It's not some outside partnership where, you get a coworker and you say, hey, I'm going to check with you every day. That stuff just falls apart because it's kind of a performance behavior mode, like taking a streak on how many days you're going to go without, eating a donut or whatever. It just doesn't work, because one day you're going to get, lazy and you're just going to eat a donut, and it's okay. It's okay when you do fall short. It's okay when things don't add up. But the accountability thing is more of an internal mechanism, and it's a decided heart. I know who I am. I know where I'm going, and I'm going to be disciplined in that direction, and I'm going to have integrity to do what I say I'm going to do. And then I'm going to get up and I'm going to go and do it over and over and over and over again. Excellence in that way becomes a habit, because it's just who you are and it's what you do. So that being said, wrapping up the recording on today's call. As always, if anyone wants to chat through this or reach out one-to-one in person, 910-619-4644 is my cell. Matt@uprint.life is the email. But you guys have a fantastic day, and here's to some good accountability, discipline, integrity as you guys continue to move forward in a positive direction. Y'all have a good one.